Hi there, it's Tara Borofka, last year's Big Bass, Yamamoto Big Bass champion. We had another fun year. We did pretty good. We're pretty happy. We had two first place checks and a couple other checks to go with it. So made some good money. It was a lot of fun. Caught some really big ones. Yesterday we had a 9-14 and caught that off a bed on a Yamamoto twin tail grub, and it was pretty cool. Caught the first cast. And today our big fish was a 7.88, and yeah, it was on a bed too. All we did was bed fish the whole tournament. I want to say we boated maybe 20 bed fish, and the weights were up, and it was just like a slugfest. So we had 4-pounders and we had to throw them back. What can you say? It was a great event, and yeah, it's awesome. I mean, my wife and I have been fished this event last year, and we're going to do it, from here on out in the future. It's pretty cool to work together and come up with, strategies on weigh-ins. So it's a totally different feel for an event. It's just fun. The whole thing's all fun. There's no stress.
Tell me about your big fish yesterday.
Big fish yesterday. We got down there. We ran real far. We couldn't see the fish, but we had GPS'd it on a bed and marked it off on the bank, and so we knew right where she was, and she was kind of spooky. So we backed off, and I just made the cast, and I could feel the little cover that she was around as I was pulling it up to the cover, and I just shook it, and pow! I mean, she was there. We knew we saw her the day before, and bam, got it. And then also the funny thing was my reel popped off while I was fighting it.
It did.
And it took out the guide at the top. So I had braid on, so I was just kind of holding it, hand lining, and Tara's, get the net ready, and it was jumping, and it jumped, and she caught it in the air. It was pretty awesome. I mean, it was a huge fish. I got to get a picture of that thing. It was so long, but yeah, that was pretty fun.
And what Yamamoto bait did you get that one on?
That was on a 6-inch twin tail Yamamoto grub. Color June bug.
And what about the big one today?
Big one today was we were just kind of looking around for beds, and Tara here suggested, let's go back to the track, because we saw some fish up cruising. Maybe there were some moving up on beds again. And we went over a place that we looked yesterday and didn't see anything. And she's just like, whoa, look at that. And looked right there, and there's one in a hole that was just sitting there like a 7-pounder. And it was like, what? We couldn't believe it was there. People were already passing by it. So
it was hard to see though.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to see. It was in a hole. You kind of had to look, and we just went by at the right angle and saw it. And we just cast an Ica in there, and earlier we'd caught some bedfish on Icas and the 6-inch cuttails, and we colored them up. She was coloring them up orange last night, the little tips, and making them look like bluegill. And because everywhere we saw a bed, there was just bluegill everywhere, and you'd see the big ones just getting upset at the bluegill swimming around. So we just decided to stick with just straight bluegill-looking lures, and so she did all the artwork on them. And
I'm good for something.
Yeah, no, she's yeah,
net, man.
Yeah, she's awesome
And
with the net.
my heart was racing when that big one was on, because she jumped out of the air, and it was scary to net that big fish, but thank goodness we caught her.
Yeah, we had a good time.
So you want to show the custom Ica there?
Here's one of them here. We had a couple variations, but this is one of them here. So it's kind of got a little eyeball on there, a little orange belly, and a little chartreuse tail. All the bluegill, especially right now, they're spawning. They have a lot of color to them, and they're flashing around and chasing each other. So in the water, I mean, you swim that thing through there. It's also a 1/2-ounce tungsten head, and I don't peg it. I don't peg it at all. Sometimes when they eat off the bottom, I want to suck it away from the weight and get a better hook set. But that's a 5/0 hook. It fits perfect in the fat Ica, as it's called.
Tell me about your strategy. How often are you catching them in the morning and sandbag until the end of the day, like today?
Oh, yeah. Our strategy was basically to come in, stay local, look around here, and when you got a couple big fish in live well, you want to make sure that you don't weigh in a fish that's big, and someone like Charlie comes in with an 11-pounder and beats you, and then you waste a whole 9-pounder. We kind of float around. There's some rules. You can't get on the dock with your fish, but you can kind of hang out and kind of ask people what's going on. Hour 1, we came in, changed our mind. We saw a lot of boats. We took off. It was a good
decision.
Yeah, good decision because Charlie had an 11 pounder, so we would have wasted that one. Hour 2, we came in and we got fooled by a guy that had the big fish on hour 2. He's walking up and I was like, hey, how big? And he's all, oh, it's over 10. It ended up being an 8. So we ended up leaving, and then we came back, thought it was an 8. So, oh man, and that's strategy. That's how everybody else is. They're playing the game too. So we came back the 3rd hour and saw there wasn't very many boats. Hung out, had the fish in the bag, waited till the last second, and just took it up there real quick. And then that was it was 9 pounder. I think a 6 pounder or 7 pounder was the next biggest one.
Sometimes the easy part is catching the fish, and which hour to weigh it in is the hard part.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think we did all right this year.
Yeah, we did pretty good. And we had a few disappointments with having some high 4s and 5s, but that just goes to show how good the fishing is right now.
It's a good bite.
It's unbelievable.
It's amazing when you can get bumped off the 5th seat with a 5 pounder. I mean, you have a 5.5 pounder and it's not good enough.
Yeah.
But that's a delta for you.
I mean,
it's awesome fishing right now.
It was pretty sweet. We ended our day just trying to catch one. We had her eat 4 times each. She had her eat twice, and I had her eat twice right before we weighed in, and we just couldn't get her. I mean, it was just unbelievable. She was picky, but she'd swallow the whole thing, and I just couldn't figure out how she couldn't get a hook. But that's fishing, and so we came in and tried to weigh in a couple more 4-pounders at the end, and of course they didn't make it.
Well, congratulations and good luck on the Super 12 drawing again for
Thanks.
this year.
Keep fingers crossed.
Yay.